From the creators of Young Ronaldo, the most watched soccer series ever on YouTube with over 65 million views. Now bringing you a podcast so antiviral, even we might forget to listen to it.
1-900. You'll wish you never called.
1-900.
1-900. Featuring Sister Sharon.
We've received a lot of encouragement and very positive reviews about my contribution to the podcast. I don't know if you've been following all the fan mail that's coming in. You want to read a couple, please?
Yeah, read a couple.
Dear Soccer Bros, I have really been enjoying your first few podcasts. The world needs more humor and great information. I am especially enamored with Mark's contribution to the podcast. Not only is he clearly a funny and entertaining person, but he is incredibly knowledgeable and articulate. Keep it up. 2 thumbs up emojis.
Hold on. I just got one that just came through in my inbox.
They don't come into you. All of them come into me.
No, I've got a separate Jared at 1-900 Soccer Bros. Dearest Jared, I wanted to let you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of emails that come in with dearest. Yeah, go ahead.
Dearest Jared, I wanted to let you know that I've been in the music business for a long time, and I can spot a hit when I hear one. You should think about going solo. Best regards, Phil.
Phil. Wasn't Phil in our first episode?
That's Bryson's dad.
Yeah, this is the role that you played. Yeah, you know what? It's such a giveaway. It's such a giveaway because when you're under pressure, the only name you can come up with is Phil. What's funny is we don't have any listeners, so that we can't possibly have any fan mail. All right, let's hit it. What's the topic?
I'll give you 3 options. You pick from these 3. All right. Injury prevention.
Injury prevention? Yeah.
How to overcome an injury.
How to overcome an injury. Injury prevention, how to overcome an injury. How about how to incur an injury?
How to injure others.
Yes. How to injure oneself or injure others. We're getting a lot of requests. Dear Soccer Bros, I'm curious about how I can best injure myself or injure others. Looking forward to hearing your next podcast. All right, what's the third one?
The third one is how to succeed in a tryout. Yeah, how to go through a tryout.
That's the winner. Although I do think injure yourself should be a future episode.
That could be part of the tryout.
Well, if you're not doing well, actually, I think it might be part of the advice. Yes. Make an assessment after about 10 minutes if things aren't going well.
Injure yourself.
That's part of the advice. Coach, I heard a snap.
At what point in the tryout do you injure yourself?
Yeah. When to use the language pop or snap. Right? Coach, I heard a pop. Was it a pop or was it a snap, Johnny?
At what point would you really think about trying to injure yourself in the tryout?
I think if you learn to kind of see the signs and signals, you'll know. There will be a point at which they will divide.
They're going to split you up.
Right, and you will see the best players moving into a group, and if you're not part of that group,
injure yourself.
Part of like the second group, it is time to injure yourself. And
let's start with the problem.
I love starting with the problem.
Most kids and parents don't really know how to approach going into a tryout.
And when you say tryout,
like making a high school team, making an academy team, a club team.
In order to be selected for almost any high-level team, a good club team, a travel team, a high school team, and then obviously as you start to move up in the ranks, right, professional trials and those kinds of things, you're inevitably going to be put in a situation where you're evaluated over a period of time. And these can be pretty stressful / nerve-wracking periods of time, and we want to be able to provide some guidance both to the kids or the players, but maybe also to the parents to be useful supports around the edges, right?
Yeah. And I want to stop you there because I want to know the process of how you transform so quickly into a boring sports psychologist, monotone podcaster. Take me through that process. It's like the switch goes on. Do you look in the mirror? Do you splash yourself with water? Like what happens?
I don't know. There's just the professional in me takes over. You know what it is? I go into be articulate mode. And I pay a lot of attention to the words that I'm using so that I'm crisp and precise.
Okay.
It's kind of like Superman goes into the telephone booth, but I do that in my mind.
All right, so let's go back to the tryout. Anxiety certainly is a major component that the player has to deal with, right?
Maybe the most important piece. I think.
Should we role play?
We could do what? Like the parent and the kid, and the parent usually is trying to give some type of advice, usually bad, to the kid.
Yeah, I think we should.
Let's do a what not to do as the parent trying to help the kid prepare for a tryout. We'll do a what usually happens but shouldn't role play.
I will be the kid.
Let's just say you are trying out for one of the top clubs in your area, in your community. You're in bed. You're probably on your phone. I walk by the room on my way to bed, and I see you. And because I'm thinking about tomorrow, I'm assuming you are, and I stop by and I come in.
Okay, perfect. Is there a knock on the door? Please, let there be a knock.
Yes.
Knock on the door.
Yes. I see the light on. Knock, knock.
FBI, open up!
What was that? That's FBI. That's an FBI knock. Is that how things go in your family? You use like a battering ram to get into the room? That is scary. I think you should be the daughter. It's been very male focused.
Okay, gotcha.
So your name is Molly. Hey, Molly. Are you awake? Do you mind if I come in and talk to you real quick?
No, come on in.
So listen, I've been thinking about tomorrow and the tryout and all that.
Me too.
Tell me what's on your mind.
Can't stop thinking about it. I'm super nervous.
Here are some things I think that might be helpful, okay? First of all, I think this is the best team. And I was just thinking about how great it would be if you could make the team.
This isn't helping, Dad. I know they're the best team.
Okay. So first of all, the coach is Phil McAnally. And I know a little bit about Phil. And Phil likes aggression, okay? And he is really into respect. So when you get there, I was just thinking, like, we should have a checklist of things. And the first thing you should do is come up to him and shake him. You know, we've been working on our handshakes. Go up to Phil, shake his hand firmly, and look him in the eye. And I want you to introduce yourself, okay? Can you do that? Can we practice that real quick?
Yeah, this is kind of making my stomach upset, actually. I don't think this is a good time. I'm already nervous.
No, I know that, but I just think if we practice it, it'll probably be helpful.
Dad, I know how to shake hands.
I know, but you don't always do it. You don't always shake the right way. I'll tell you what. Why don't you put your uniform on so it feels real?
Dad,
and then
you can't be serious.
All right, if you don't want to do that.
It's 11:30, Dad.
I know, but I think it'll be worth it. Let's move on. So after you've shaken hands, I want you to also introduce yourself to the other girls, okay? I think that will help with any of the cattiness. So just introduce yourself to the girls. It's also really important, okay? The first part of the tryout is very important, and so I want you to be super aggressive, okay? So a lot of extra talk. I want you to be the captain.
Dad, please.
Be the captain. A couple really strong, quick tackles early to establish yourself, okay?
Oh, my God.
And I need you to run.
Mom!
A lot. You don't run.
Mom!
You know you haven't been running that much.
Oh, my God.
Okay? And I need you to take shots. So
you're making me sick.
As many shots as you can. I've got two more things. You have to tackle more than you've been tackling.
Oh, my God, Dad, please.
Get an early tackle in.
Don't you have anything better to do, Dad? Please. Mom!
Molly, relax. It's going to be fine. It doesn't matter.
Gosh. Dad, my heart's beating super fast.
All right. It doesn't matter whether you make the team or not make the team. I just want you to do your best, and I want you to.
Said my heart's beating super fast, Dad. Like out of my chest fast, Dad.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave you.
Please. You really didn't help this at all.
Are you doing your breathing?
My breathing. I can barely breathe. I'm never going to sleep tonight. Thanks, you asshole.
Are you gonna?
Sorry, Dad. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you have your inhaler?
Oh my God.
All right. I'll see you in the morning.
Sick. So sick.
Phone's off in 2. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Love you. Okay. Bye.
Okay, I think that went pretty well.
Yeah, you got nasty.
Well, you pissed me off. I just wanted to sleep.
I just wanted to help you.
Well, we should do a good role play. Why don't we do it again, but now you put your sports psychologist hat on and give proper advice.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Okay, here we go. Hey, Molly, are you up?
Yeah, can't sleep.
Do you mind if I come in and talk for a few minutes?
No, come on in.
Are you thinking about tomorrow or what's going on?
Totally. Can't sleep.
Okay.
I'm just super nervous. I get so nervous before these things.
And what do you worry about most?
Well, the obvious, like not making the team.
Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to just...
I kind of just don't want to go.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this will help you, but I 100% know the feeling of not wanting to go. I feel that way a lot of times, just not wanting to go to work because I feel like pressure to, I don't know, do well. I worry about that stuff. Is that kind of what you're feeling, or?
Yeah, I know I'm good enough to make it, but I just hope it's not one of those days,
Yeah. And what would it be so bad if it was one of those days? Like, what's the worst thing that happens?
I wouldn't make it, and I'd embarrass myself.
Why would that be embarrassing?
Well, I guess if my friends made it and I didn't, that would be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, because you feel like you're missing out.
Everybody will be disappointed. You'll be disappointed. Right. Mom will be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll be upset, but mostly we would be upset because it's something that you wanted. Like, it doesn't change the way we feel about you. Like, you do know that, right? Like, we're so proud of you and all the work that you put in. And this is really an opportunity, Molly. Like, I think it's very easy in these situations to focus on the negative, like what if you don't make it, worst case scenario. But it really is an opportunity to see what you can do, don't you think? I mean, have you thought about it that way? Like, just you've trained hard and you get an opportunity to play with really good players and kind of a measuring opportunity. And sometimes you meet the expectations and sometimes you don't. But, like, welcome to life, right? So what if we think about this as a challenge, to try to meet the challenge and see what you're capable of doing, as opposed to the what ifs if it goes wrong? What's the opportunity in this?
To be on a really good team and with a really good coach, to travel a lot.
Focus a little bit more on the opportunity for yourself in the tryout. This is pressure and it's stressful, which can be uncomfortable, but, like, what do you know about dealing with uncomfortable things? We've talked about this.
You've always just told me to go out there and do my best and, right. Control the controllables, but, like, I forget even what those are. And
totally. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we talk about that for a second. Like, the controllables are the things, obviously, that you have the most control over. And you don't necessarily have control over whether you're going to get picked. You don't have control over whether the other players are nice to you, or, like, the weather, or maybe even how you're feeling. Like, you just might be really nervous. Sometimes that makes you feel tired or distracted or all kinds of things. I mean, you have control over what?
My effort and my attitude.
Right. Okay. And effort means you go out there and do my best, regardless of what the situation is and regardless of how you're feeling.
Right.
Okay. And your attitude? What does that mean?
Like, my body language and not showing frustration. Like, don't get down on myself. Like, if I lose the ball, just react really fast.
And your reactions, right? That's the key. It's like, how do you react to situations? And this whole thing is kind of an opportunity to think about how you react, like what kind of person you are, right? How do you deal with stress? How do you deal with pressure? How do you deal with difficult circumstances? Like, this is not just a soccer thing, right? This is a life thing. It's an example and an opportunity for you to practice how to try to be, like, your best in a situation that is challenging and difficult.
Yeah, totally.
What's the first thing we try to do when we're not feeling good?
Throw up?
Well, maybe. But what do we try to do when we're uncomfortable? What do our brains want us to do?
We want to run away.
Right. But what does the running away get us?
It gets us out of our uncomfortable situation.
Totally. It gets us out of discomfort. So what we're trying to do is get comfortable. Why are we doing the tryout again?
I'm doing the tryout because I want to test myself against, like, the best players and to see if all my training and hard work is making a difference, and just to learn that uncomfortable experiences can be really good for me.
That is amazing. That's so good. So maybe you can kind of focus on that a little bit, okay? And know that regardless of what the outcome is, if you're doing your best and trying to control the controllables and trying to use this as an opportunity to grow and get stronger, that not only will we be super proud of you, but I really think that you're be focusing on the thing that will help you in the future. And that's what we're all about in this family. Okay?
Okay. Thanks so much, Dad.
You're welcome.
I kind of feel like putting on my jersey right now and going to play.
Well, you can't do that. So, well, if you want to put it on, you can sleep in it. So I'll see you in the morning.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, that was good. So where's Sister Sharon?
That is a great question. I thought she was listening to this whole thing.
I'm listening, guys.
There she is.
These scenarios are pretty unrealistic. Anyway, what I was thinking, checking in with your kid before a tryout, whether it's right before or the night before, is an opportunity to reinforce your connection with your kid rather than to give them, like, specific tactics that you think are going to give them an edge. Like, it's not the time to try to give them an edge, you know?
Yeah.
All that matters is, like, a reminder of, like, hey, why are we even doing this tryout? Like, what's the point? What's the purpose? And how can I support you so that you feel good about your effort? Like, this isn't about us. It's about supporting you and what you want. I think that's so great.
Kids are not going to be in a position to receive much information if they're, nervous or stressed. And that holds true for whether it's a coach giving halftime, guidance or whether it's a parent trying to talk to their kids. The primary orientation ought to be towards, providing them some support, empathy, love, caring, and reinforcement for the things they have control over.
I have a question because, this is kind of reminding me of the parenting advice we all know, but personally I struggle to follow sometimes, which is basically about in a tantrum or a fight, when everybody's seeing red, especially your kid, you can't reason with them. They're in the primate brain. They're in the amygdala, right? And so prefrontal cortex style talking and reasoning it's like trying to reason with a drunk, right? Kind of reminds me of that. And sometimes in those situations, the parenting advice is just don't engage your kid. Let them be. Make sure they know you're there and you love them and you're not abandoning them in their moment of primate rage or sadness or whatever it is, in their big feeling. Like, stay with them in their big feeling, but do not engage them. And I wonder if this could apply for a tryout. Like, is silence golden? Is silence the way? If Molly in your role play hadn't opened up, if you'd been like, hey, how are you feeling about tomorrow? And she was like, I don't really want to talk about it. How would you play that?
No, I think your point is well taken. What's the physician's creed? It's first do no harm. That's a good recipe.
It's the parent that is feeling like if you don't say something to help them prepare,
you're not helping your kid.
In addition, like, you're going to feel resentment and guilt that you should have said something. If I would have said something, I could have somehow changed the result. So, Sister Sharon, why don't you see what your son has to say about this?
Adi, what do you think? Like, if you were really nervous the night before a tryout, a big tryout, how would you want me to handle that?
Just shut up.
There you go.
There you have it, folks.
It's just annoying. Like, it's not your game, it's my game.
It's kind of interesting to hear. Not interested in anything.
Right. I think we also need to make sure that our listeners know, like, how old Audie is.
I'm going to be on a podcast?
He's 11.
Yeah. Okay, so he's 11.75. He's an incredibly gifted, awesome player. So I think this is very interesting.
One thing I do get caught up in is, let's make sure we eat the right food. Let's make sure we're hydrating. Let's make sure we get a good night's sleep, that kind of stuff.
So this could be like a lightning round of tryout hacks, right? Tips and tricks that you can do to succeed in a tryout.
Yep. And I know you've given a lot of thought to this, so why don't you go first?
Yeah. Okay, so inevitably the player always is anxious about going through these tryouts. And I found that if the player just spends 15 to 20 minutes with the ball the morning of the tryout, right, they wake up a little bit early and just get some touches in, that really does relieve a lot of that kind of nervous energy. So when you actually go out on that field, you're already kind of semi-warmed up and you've already made a connection with the foot and ball.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, just to get the jitters out. Yeah, I love that.
I say you have to make an impression, and you need to be thinking about doing the right things that, in essence, allow you to have a check mark in the minds of the selectors, right? So when they're watching, are you doing something or some things that capture their attention in a positive way? It says, oh, that was good. That was interesting. I like that. You're trying to collect those points, whether it's a creative pass or a strong tackle or a great run, cross, finish. You get the idea. Those are all points that you are accruing. And I want that mindset to come in and enter into the picture as early as possible, because it's very easy when you're nervous to do just the opposite, which is worry about making a mistake. And making a mistake is not a recipe for earning a check mark or a point. So that's mine.
Thinking of the tryout as a video game, as you say, or like how to get points on the board, how to win it, it's not the same as a practice or even a game with your team. So it is a place to be bolder, to be trying to get noticed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. No, that's good.
I have another one, and it is be first in from the water break, show that you're attentive, show that you're respectful, show that you're a good person.
Okay, great. Mine is the earlier you can make an impression, the better it is for you, because decisions get made and groups get formed early in tryout situations, especially when there are lots of kids. They have to make some early decisions and groupings. And if you get put into one of the lower groups early, it's much harder to work your way out of it. If you can get yourself into the top group or top 2 groups, you're playing with better players, and it will help you.
Cool. Good one.
Even if you get put in the B team or the second group, think about the boldest thing you can do to stand out in that group. You know, maybe the blessing of the second group is you're the best player, or you can show off moves that you couldn't in the first group.
Yeah.
I think
That's
maybe
right.
I'd stick with that. I mean, I also wonder about a strategy of like going up to the coaches and being like, "Hey, you put me in the wrong group. Like I'm supposed to be over there." What do you guys think of that?
That's pretty interesting.
I like
I thought about that. I kind of like it, actually. Sure.
That's kind of like paying monthly for you.
Yeah. It's another gold star.
But like, think about it. If you taught your kid, okay, listen,
I love this.
This is how tryouts really work, okay? The good kids go in the good group. The kids who aren't going to make the team go in the other group, and then they get ignored for the rest of the tryout. So if you happen to get misplaced in that group, just go join the other group. Just leave.
I love that. Just go tell the coach, listen, I think you made a mistake. I'm supposed to be in this group.
What happens if you're not? What happens if you make a mistake, though, and you were put in the top group, and you accidentally think that the lower group was the best group, and you have to get moved?
Well, I think you have to be clear about the A and the B. But if you see it clearly, your job is to stay in the A by any means necessary.
Yeah.
Listen,
I think that's great advice.
If I'm a coach and a kid comes up to me and says, "Hey, listen, I think you got this wrong. I'm definitely supposed to be in this group." I'm definitely I'm gonna say, "All right, go on. Let's see."
Yeah.
Right?
I'll put him in.
But
totally.
There's another scenario where maybe this is worse, where you just don't listen to the coach about going.
You just go into the other group.
I like that too.
You're just like, "Oh no, I'm over here." Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I play with this.
If I was one of the selectors, I'd be pissed off, and I'd be like, "No, I can assure you, Johnny, you are in the right group. Get over there."
Right. Make sure that you're hydrated properly before the tryout. Make sure that your food is on point. Take your food serious 2 to 3 days prior to the tryout. Most people think that they can just eat well the morning of the tryout. It doesn't work that way. That's not the way the body works and metabolizes food. At least 24 to 48 hours. Make sure that you're having some carbs, getting your vegetables in, a good source of protein, and for sure, make sure you're hydrated all the time.
Great. Mine is, if you find yourself not in one of the top groups, do not panic. There is always a pathway up. It's not always easy, but there is. But you have to know what you need to do. And in that situation, you cannot just be one of the flock. You can't be the great teammate that's always giving up the ball, playing super simple all the time. You probably are going to need to show yourself and demonstrate that you're one of the better players in the weaker group. Otherwise, you're not going to progress. So there is pressure and some urgency to do that. Don't miss your chance.
And I've got one, and it's called scanning, okay? If you're a player that doesn't know how to scan, then that's a whole other issue. But if you have learned how to scan, which is to look, critical scanning, you need to be the one player on that field that is demonstrating the ability to scan. Show that you're a cognitive king or queen, right? That you are able to do things that the other kids aren't doing. And typically, nobody is scanning at these tryouts. So you could be the one player that does, and you'll stand out for it.
Yeah, I like that because that's something that you can demonstrate visually without, like, it doesn't depend on anything else, just you and remembering to do it. And it's something that good coaches will pick up on. So I think that's great. Mine, know what makes you great. Be connected to the things that make you special as a player and make sure that the coaches see that. If you're going into this with just like, whatever, in this kind of murky, I'm going to try to do everything well, I just don't think that's a good approach. Like, if you are somebody who's great in the air, make sure that you show the coaches that. If you can finish, then make sure that you're taking shots on goal. If you're a really strong tackler, then make sure that you're showcasing that. Having a strong identity and showing the coaches that you're a certain type of player will help you immensely.
Good one. Like that. Okay, and my next one is learn names and make friends early. So as soon as you get to that field, the first guys or girls that show up, ask their names, become friends, right? It could be a little psychological manipulation, and that's okay. But the more you can form alliances early on in these situations, the better and more successful you're going to be, because you have a chance to call people by their name, and that means you're going to get the ball more. So do it.
Yeah. I feel mixed about this. I think this works for kids who are already inclined to be kind of extroverted and like the kid who is going to make friends. But I think there's also something to be said for a lot of inner focus and inner boldness and just like, I'm here to destroy and slay, and I'm not here to make friends. I think it's also fine for kids who want to just show up and like emanate their intensity.
Where I was going with that is like there is a very clever and kind of dark art of psychologically manipulating other tryout goers by befriending them early. There's an intensity about that also. You know what I mean?
By demonstrating this kind of outgoing, I'm comfortable persona, then especially the kids that are going to be a little bit more nervous might be more likely to defer, right? That there's a pecking order, and the deference winds up being useful, right? You might get the ball more. If you ask for it, you get it, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing that we didn't put in was if you recognize early on who the really top players in the tryout are, then you should injure those players.
Right.
You should take those players out. And I have maybe one more. It's to be loud. Be the loudest one on the field, okay? And that takes absolutely zero technique or ball mastery wizardry. If you're the loudest one on that pitch, trust me, you will get noticed. And it can make up for a lot of mistakes that you could potentially make if you show leadership that way.
Great. Okay, here's my last one. Treat every training and match like a tryout. Why does this have to be so different? The more you can bring your authentic, tough-minded, performance-oriented, authentic, good person, hardworking self to all these situations, then you won't have to come into a tryout and make it seem like it's so different. It shouldn't be. This should be the way you are and the way that you play. So don't just do this at a tryout. Start doing it now.
It's unrealistic to expect someone to treat a routine training or even a routine match, right? A match that doesn't have stakes around it. Show up with the like intensity and preparation and boldness and risk-taking. I mean, that feels like something you do occasionally, not regularly. But why not just go to actual tryouts all the time? They're free. Why not? I almost like that more than like treat every practice and game like a tryout.
You make a great point, Bob.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. I mean, if you can't make the team after this, then it's really too bad.
Unsubscribe.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Ciao, bye.
Au revoir.
Ciao.
They're great.
Ciao. Bye.
See ya.
Oh my God. Okay. Somebody take away his mic.
All right. Bye.
1-900. Featuring Sister Sharon.